Приветствую всех, дорогие зрители, на канале Вармейл Роуз. И мы с вами продолжаем уже в новой главе под номером 2, под названием «Раса». И, собственно, в новом костюме. Очень странном, да. Это тот самый костюм, череп, который мы с вами получили. Я решила его примерить, и мне он что-то, по виду мне не очень нравится. Он какой-то страшненький, если честно. Не знаю, как вам, но мне он что-то не очень нравится. Я тут покопался в изменениях, разработках и прочем. Руководство базы. Так, что у нас тут? Ничего невозможно. Сейчас быстренько, совершенно очень быстро. Да. О, господи, так, что у нас там? Давайте начнем с кассет. Как обычно. До хрена всего тут надо это сюда слушать.
We've inoculated the staff with Walbachia to keep them from becoming symptomatic.
That should also contain the infection.
How did this happen in the first place? It has to have been a Cypher spy within our ranks.
If this is so, then why the Kakongo strain? If their intent was to wipe you out.
Skullface said the remaining English parasite was close to the boss. If this latest strain was his doing, he wouldn't have tipped his hand.
It is possible someone brought eggs onto the base without knowing. Stuck to their shoes, clothing.
Well, that makes the most sense to me. And where did the eggs come from?
You mentioned that your boss visited Nzoya Badiopulu.
Sure, but his gear's disinfected immediately upon return.
Then he was not the carrier.
And not just the boss. All staff dispatched to high-risk regions were quarantined on the flight back. When the symptoms first appeared, we checked and disinfected all equipment used up to that point. Any and all prisoners, soldiers, materials, and animals extracted during missions were also quarantined. So, that just leaves...
I have seen children around here. Where are they from?
all over. Some were being held hostage at a mine. Then there were the troublemakers at Bwala Yamasa.
Bwala Yamasa?
Yeah.
Their clothes, their things. Did you burn them?
They're just kids. We couldn't... And besides, not one of them's shown symptoms.
The parasites don't infect prepubescent hosts. Their vocal cords are not fully developed.
Well, if infection doesn't occur in children...
It is possible they carried eggs on their clothes, and the infection spread from them.
Check the kid's stuff.
I doubt there is any trace left by now.
But if there is, some of those kids must be close to hitting puberty. How could we have missed this? The name Bwala Yamasa got quite a reaction from you. I'm guessing the Kakongo strain was released in that village.
Cypher used that region to experiment with vocal cord parasite transmission. The Kakongo strain. The settlements around the refinery upstream of Bwala Yamasa were the proving grounds. They would infect one villager and record transmission speed. Dangerous work. If they failed to contain the infection, it would slip into the surrounding regions.
At which point the world found out about the parasites, making them useless as a weapon. Incredible they'd risk such a thing.
The test site was densely populated too. A terrible place for such experiments. No doubt, they thought burning everything would wipe away all traces. The settlements were covered in oil anyway. Who would wonder if one day they caught fire? And so it did. They burned it all. Living and dead.
Those remains.
But they miscalculated. Transmission speed was far faster than anticipated. It may have been the temperature, or hygiene standards, or perhaps the parasites reacted quickly to Kikongo. Whatever the reason, nearly all villagers were swiftly infected, and the settlements reduced to mounds of corpses. Making matters worse, the dry season was ending. When it came time to burn the village, the Moneni River had swelled. Many of the bodies were waterlogged.
Meaning they didn't burn completely.
The corpses still contained viable eggs, and the larvae washed downstream. And when the people downstream drank that water,
That marked the end for Bwala Yamasa.
I learned all of this at the mansion. I warned him of the risk of eggs getting out.
And?
We are prepared for any eventuality.
I get it. Putting the oil field back online. The oil leaks, saner. They plan to pollute the river, prevent the spread of infection. But the oil flow was stopped, and downstream the people of Masa village started using the water again. The PF soldiers deployed at the village were locals, spoke Kikongo. They were infected, and the kids survived.
I've heard enough.
And who stopped the flow of oil?
Don't.
We did.
That confirms it. The source of the Kikongo strain infection was Masa village. And the children brought it here. It is no one's fault. There is no blame to be cast.
The parasites, they were tested in other regions?
Their physiology requires that they be tested under varied conditions. Another test site was in Afghanistan.
So it was the parasites there.
Both the Pashto and Tajik languages are spoken in the mountains of Afghanistan, and population density is low. Ideal testing grounds for how accurately the parasites target only the specified language. It is also relatively easy to prevent the spread of infection.
And the results?
The first test, I am told, was a success. Once the Pashtun Mujahideen were infected with the Pashto strain, they were all but wiped out.
The Hamid fighters at Spassaem fort.
It was doubly successful. No Tajik Mujahideen or Soviet soldiers became symptomatic.
So the parasites proved to be effective. What about the second test?
Also supposedly a success. A Pashtun village was the target. However, the original aim was to obtain samples of the infected. In this, they failed.
And the village?
The Soviets enacted a standard scorched earth operation.
That must have been the village where Malak lived, before being held captive at La Marjate Palace.
Having had more time to think on it, the details shared with me may have been false. They are madmen who would do anything to cover up the truth.
They certainly seem to like tossing their problems in the fire.
As a boy, Skullface's life went up in flames. Perhaps that is what fuels his fixation with fire.
Your Wolbachia stopped the infection all right, but I still don't get it. How can a few bacteria change males to females? I know they're only bugs, but...
It is not such a rare thing in the natural world. Many insects and nematodes are infected with Wolbachia.
But why?
They nest in the cell cytoplasm of the host, even in the egg cells, with the result that the offspring are born infected.
Mother-to-child transmission.
However, Wolbachia cannot nest in sperm because they do not have cytoplasm. So even a successful infection of a male ends after a single generation. This means the Wolbachia must resort to maximizing the population of infected females.
Sounds like an ethnic cleansing campaign on a tiny scale.
Gender change from male to female is their survival tactic.
So more females means more Wolbachia carriers, so it can keep thriving in the following generations.
But the parasites in a human host are supposed to be a mating pair. If there's no male, there'll be no offspring at all. It's
slow down. This tactic is intended for environments where a single male can copulate with multiple females. Originally, the Wolbachia did not infect the vocal cord parasites. I created a mutated strain, modifying the Wolbachia so that it could infect monogamous pairs. The Wolbachia's greatest multiplying tactic, the male-to-female change, worked against itself in the monogamous parasites. Just as you said. Then, I performed repeated selection of Wolbachia strains until I achieved 100% certainty of male-to-female conversion.
Creating female-female pairs, unable to reproduce.
And you say the Wolbachia affects the host of the host, that is, us, cutting off our means to reproduce?
It is almost certain. Of course, we will not turn female. After all, mammals possess no natural gender-changing function. But some Wolbachia strains can cause cytoplasmic incompatibility in the host.
Is that some cell deformity?
Put simply, it means the altered sperm of infected males kill the female's egg on contact.
And that's happened to us?
Yes. And yet, what occurs in humans is not just simple CI. To date, there are no cases of Wolbachia affecting humans. The fact that this strain causes this effect, is it the vocal cord parasite's affinity with humans? I do not know enough to say for sure.
So the parasite warps the host. Reminds me of what Skullface said.
It is the way of all organisms to create their own optimal environment. Just look at you and this base. Organisms that cannot do this are doomed to extinction. The difference with parasites is that their environment is another organism. That creates a connection between life and life. Parasitism, symbiosis, or death. In this way, the host too is challenged to adapt.
Ой, фу, господи, слава тебе, господи, боже мой. Сколько мы нас... Там 4, по-моему, 3 минуты. В общем, в общей сложности мы с вами минут 10-15 потратили на это все. Поэтому я предлагаю начать вот эту серию. О, господи, серию. Ну все, меня уже пора брать. 32-ю миссию. Слишком много знаний. Советский солдат, завербованный ЦРУ, перестал выходить на связь. Эвакуируйте этого крота. Да без проблем. Давай. Ой, блин, обожаю этот комбинезон, слышите? Красота вообще. Так, здесь, наверное, никак нельзя. Да, давайте ускорим восстановление здоровья, потому что у нас беда со здоровьем, насколько нам известно. Давайте. Так, стоп. Мне с собой что, у меня ракетница? Нет, мне не ракетница нужна. Мне нужна снайперка. Глушитель-то здесь? Где мой глушитель? Все, вот это возьму. Так. Я не помню, уже какую третью или четвертую серию подряд записываю, что-то мне уже не очень. Предыдущая серия вообще была эпичная, когда я пересматривала. Меня опять не было слышно в титрах. Эпизод 32. Слишком много знаний. To know too much.
Find and extract the missing CIA agent. The
target was laying low with a friendly Mujahideen during the vocal cord parasites incident. The man headed back to OKB-0 after the Soviets recaptured it. Check the target's VI on your iDroid.
Ага, значит тут. Блин, опять через всю карту переть? Вы серьезно, что ли? Ну да, естественно, конечно, уже понятно. Блин, а мы с вами опять в Афганистане, ё-моё. Интересно, здесь какая-нибудь реально зимняя локация будет или нет? А то постоянно в жаре как-то, не знаю. Материальчики у нас перерабатываются. Какая-нибудь жопа сейчас точно случится. Слушай, ты что-то далековато, мать убежала. Там вообще-то в другую сторону как бы. Вообще вот сейчас я вспомнила, во второй главе есть момент, который нужно мне пропустить. Меня некоторые люди предупреждали, что этот момент пропустить очень легко. Вот надо держать в голове, чтобы его не пропустить. И вообще надо было взять джип, но кто же знал, что придется так далеко переть. Ой, боже мой. Ну зато вспомним ландшафт Афганистана. Почему бы, собственно, и нет. Так, слушай, а ты вот здесь залезешь? Я, конечно, подозреваю, что нет. Но мало ли. Нет, не залезешь. Так, погнали, давай. Давайте по дороге растения будем собирать, наверное. А то я некоторые продала, чтобы получить GMP. Привет, парашек. Он сейчас забодает нафиг. Я что-то еще не посмотрела, у нас статы прокачались или нет, хоть немножко. Потому что у меня такое ощущение, что статы не качаются. Классный костюмчик. Вы посмотрите, какой вид, ребят. Вы заметили, да? Я надеюсь. Так. Ну, мы почти на месте. Меня пугает, если честно, та миссия, которая обозначена в скобках как экстрим. Если честно, с нашим нынешним снаряжением. Так, контрольная точка, отлично. Еще подойти. Делаешь, а? Отлично. Блин. Где? Я тебя потеряла. Где ты? Все? Нет, не все, вон еще один. Что, где? Какой контакт? Подожди, нет, мы не контакт. Мы... Да твою мать. Слушайте, а реально быстрее восстанавливается здоровье. где-то стреляет вообще, я не понимаю, где это происходит. Где-то рядом, наверное. Мать. Всё. То есть, получается, наши ребята сейчас будут бороться со всем шифром, что ли? Но ведь череп вроде как заведовал шифром. Странно. Что такая хрень потом распадается после всего. Эх, блин. Так, тут ездит джипы, понятно. Что-то остановилось. Что? Что нам сделать вообще надо, господи? Агент ЦРУ. Советский Союз, тра-та-та, эвакуировать этого крота. Мне что, по земле лезть, что ли? Это не цель случайно?
КП-4. Объект обнаружен. Координаты 03-850-12750. Пришлите транспорт. Прием.
We know where to find the target. Check your iDroid.
Отправляем группу. Оставайтесь там до ее прибытия. Конец связи.
Твою мать, блин.
Roger.
Твою мать. Не-не-не-не-не-не. Не, ребят, давайте без меня.
This is B-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is B-Quad. Have arrived at LZ. Will stand by. Cover fire. In hot. Target acquired. In hot.
А, он еще и со щитом скотина.
In hot. Watch out, boss.
Куда стреляешь, что ли? Жоп.
Great. Hurry up and extract the target. This is B-Quad. No targets remaining. Ending attempt. This is B-Quad. Have arrived at LZ. Will stand by.
Сейчас мы только их соберем, давайте.
You gotta extract him. That's the target. Looks like we found him. zone, boss.
Так, ну сейчас пошли еще какие-то такие простые миссии. Скорее всего.
Flawless work. You never cease to amaze, boss. All right, mission complete, boss. Boss, the target filled us in on what's been going on. He betrayed the Soviets, passing information to Langley, but got scared after learning XOF used the vocal cord parasites. Then came feelings of guilt that his leaks sent comrades to their deaths, and fear that America might deploy such a weapon itself. But in reality, XOF and Langley don't have a collaborative relationship, and Skullface was not working for America. Still, I can't blame the man for being afraid. After laying low with the Mujahideen, he tried to cut his ties with the US and return to the Soviet military. But along the way, someone came after him, and he was forced back into hiding. Could have been remnants of XOF looking to silence him. And you know the rest. He doesn't seem to know much about the parasites, but nevertheless, it'd be too dangerous to hand him over to Langley or the Soviets. We'll keep him here as originally planned.
Окей. Гамбургер. Чего? Что за гамбургеры?
Boss, come on back to base.
Окей. Чё, у вас там какая-нибудь опять жопа случилась, да? В моё отсутствие, как обычно. Ничего нового. Или нас сейчас гамбургером будут кормить. Так, подозрительно. Что-то опять нападение, что ли? Господи, ну что тебе надо-то? Щеки опять надул.
Boss, there's been an accident in the boys' quarters. A pile of steel pipes gave way and crushed one of the kids. The boy named Ralph. They tell me he died instantly. I'm sorry, boss. It's my fault. I should have been keeping an eye on
Вообще-то да, ты у них, блин, нянька
I'll
как
let you
бы.
know if we learn something.
Пардон, нахрена? Нахрена, подожди. Меня сюда привезли, то есть только из-за этой сценки или что? Да ладно. Че, серьезно, что ли, только из-за этой сценки? Что не вдупляю немножко.
Thank you for getting rid of the disease, boss.
Да нет, что. Так, это подозрительно, мать вашу, слушайте. Что здесь? Ага. Ну ладно, нас вытянули из-за этого, блин, я не совсем понимаю. Да, точно, мы же теперь можем это этих отправлять всех. Так, вертолет. Давайте вызовем сначала вертолет, потом я кое-что хотела послушать.
Roger.
Здесь, потому что здесь иногда эти военные все ходят, разговаривать начинают и сбивают запись.
On station at LZ.
прям, знаете, заинтересовало эти гамбургеры Миллера, если честно. Все, давай садись обратно. Слезай, мадама. Так, отлично, все. Контрольная точка. Давайте это послушаем, а. Ну, коль у нас получилась такая, скажем, может быть, не знаю, серия, состоящая из аудиокассет. Ха-ха, все, поняла, да. Давайте вот эти две послушаем и закончим на этом серию.
You mentioned that the man on fire was crushed under Sahelanthropus in its hangar.
Yeah. He was caught under the wheels of its transport platform.
But his body wasn't found.
What?
We searched the area the moment we arrived, but there was no trace of him.
I wasn't hallucinating.
I know. I trust you on that. That means someone must have taken the body. But when I got there, everything was still as it was. Even Skullface hadn't been touched. I can't see a reason to sneak into a place like that and drag out the biggest, heaviest guy there.
What are you getting at?
The only option left is... he got up and walked away.
That platform ran him over.
Just ran him over.
You're saying that's not enough?
I don't want to believe it, but maybe not. He shrugs off bullets, even rocket strikes. There's no reason to think that would finish him. It seems ridiculous, but I'll start gathering eyewitness accounts just in case.
If you dig up anything concrete, I want to know.
You'll be the first, if I dig anything up. But I hope to hell I don't.
No kidding.
И это да. Ну, вообще лучше бы, конечно, найти, потому что... Нам, конечно, тоже послушать, но это потом, наверное.
I have spoken enough. Your men can take it from here. Will you permit me to rest? Have something to eat?
I thought you don't eat.
I can subsist without food. But there is more to the act of eating than nourishment. We receive nature's blessings and reaffirm our part in it. And in doing so, we express our gratitude.
Sorry, it's, hearing you say you don't need to eat and that you're a part of nature in the same breath. Anyway, what can we get you? Not exactly a five-star restaurant, but the kitchen's used to serving a lot of different appetites.
Hamburgers.
Hamburgers?
Even we didn't have become Americanized. I eat them often back home.
And you just can't let them go. Well, as far as symbols of the American Empire go, hamburgers are pretty good. The victory of capitalism. Your people suffered so much at the hands of America. And you asked for hamburgers.
We have suffered more than you can know. But I do not see hamburgers as an accomplice. A single dish, providing a balanced helping of nature's blessings. Meat, grain, and vegetable. How could anyone hate such a magnificent thing?
Says the guy who can survive on photosynthesis. Balance has nothing to do with it. You just like a good burger.
That is also true. Be warned, though. I have very high standards.
Don't worry. I do too. All right then. One good old-fashioned all-American icon coming up.
I look forward to it.
Прикольненько, однако. Да, ребят, на этом мы завершим данную серию. Она, может быть, будет короткой, конечно. Да, она будет короткой. Но вот такие вот простые миссии, может быть, есть смысл, конечно, их, знаете, вот разбивать на части, скажем. Ну, выполнили какую-то простую миссию, да, там послушали аудио и завершили. То есть так, чтобы вот эти аудиозаписи не накладывались на одну серию. То есть, чтобы по одной серии не приходилось прям сразу все слушать, а их нужно слушать, чтобы понимать вообще сюжет хоть немножко. Вот, ребят. Поэтому на этой чудной ноте я с вами прощаюсь. До следующей серии. Всем приятного просмотра и пока-пока.